Hi, folks. My name is Max, your occasional host of the most, back with you for another vid. And with me is psychic medium Liz Cross. Are you there, Liz?
I'm here. I'm here.
Great. Liz, I read the other day that not only do you do a psychic consultation for people suffering here on our earthly plane, but also on the other side. And I read that among your clientele, we have Michael Jackson.
Oh God, yeah.
We have Jeffrey Epstein. And last but not least, the legendary actor Burt Reynolds.
Now he's not so bad.
I love Burt. How is Burt doing on the other side, and what does he want to talk to you about?
Oh, he's fantastic. Thank you. He's showing me in a red Corvette, and he's got his flowery shirt on that matches his Corvette, and he's just really living it up over there.
Like even like in a bigger way than he did on planet Earth?
No, because he loves the ladies. So there's none of that hanky-panky stuff going on in the spirit world. You just don't have the body parts to do so.
Okay, but they don't have the body parts to have fun, but do they have the currency to pay you? How does that work? Or crypto or USDT? How do they send you any type of currency from the other side, or just a lot of love energy? Or
that's a good question. I do believe that certain ones on the other side bless me. I really believe that. I honestly do. And also the other thing that I do notice is that just because people are on the other side, it does not mean that you can't do CTT for them, the consciousness transformation techniques, because it's energy. So energy healing is not limited to those of us in a human body. You can actually heal people on the other side that have already crossed over, which is absolutely astonishing. Now, when I do those sessions, and I do, I do have a regular stream of clients. And when I'm doing a lot of CTT sessions, like one after the other, I do actually benefit from those sessions as well. In my consciousness expansion. So Bert is now saying, can you do one for me, please, Liz? Can you do one for me? Because CTT is just so powerful. But I'm going to say, no, I'm sorry, Bert, unless you send me like some massive Hollywood clients that I can, send me some Hollywood people. He's like, I got loads of people up here at Spirit. I got Marilyn.
Yeah. Dom DeLuise might be with him, and yeah, please give my best to Bert. I loved him. I think my favorite movie is still The Cannonball Run after all these years, and Smoking the Bandit, of course. For if there are younger people watching, they're probably thinking, what is this man blabbing about? Who is Mr. Max? Well, anyway, Google Bert, and so with that. Finally, we're going to do Oceans Part 2. Our intuition took us to some other topics recently. We've been planning to do Part 2 for a while now. If you haven't seen Part 1, do check that out first. That is our recommendation. In Part 1, we established that the ocean is not doing very well these days, which should not be a surprise, because humanity is partying very hard on this planet and has been for a good while now. And the ocean is very much polluted and abused in all sorts of horrible ways. And that is the message that came through quite clearly last time. Liz, I think we also spoke about why whales and dolphins, why they are beaching themselves in huge numbers. There's many of these types of incidents happening in the last few years. And to get the answer, watch that video. I think we also spoke about the fact that no alien bases are located on the in the ocean or on the ocean surface, which was kind of surprising. I think that that's something that I always suspected might be the case. But according to our probe, I vividly remember it came out that that wasn't the case. And but there was much more to explore. For example, about ocean mysteries like Atlantis and what might be resting below Antarctica and the Bermuda Triangle. So that's what we're going to focus on a little bit today. So Liz, how if we want to explore a little bit about various, let's say, ocean mysteries, what would be the right way to go about that? Maybe not asking the ocean as an entity, but more in a remote viewing mode, or what would be the way?
I mean, we can do both. We can do both. So okay. We'll see how we go. So did you want to do the Bermuda Triangle first? Because that's always a good one.
That, yeah, people love the Bermuda Triangle. Maybe Bert knows. We can ask Bert, but he's up there.
Definitely.
Bert has a bird's eye view of the planet, so from where he's sitting. But yeah, anyway, which is possible to get the answer. So let's check out the Bermuda Triangle first. What do you see there?
Do people go missing in the Bermuda Triangle? Yes, and this is since the beginning of time. And actually, what is so astonishing is that animals, very intelligent animal life, they know how dangerous it is.
So let's take a step back here. What is the nature of the Bermuda Triangle mystery? What is it that is going on there? According to you, or the, whomever you're asking.
It's like an energy vacuum. It's like an energy vacuum.
Is it a portal, or is it something more sinister than that? Is it really like a vacuum? There's nothing.
You know how people actually go missing in the Bermuda Triangle? It's like these whirlpools, or you know what I mean? Like, you remember when there was that tsunami or the earthquake and the Fukushima, if I pronounced that right? And remember you saw the little lone tugboat swirling around, and you knew that those people were just going to go under, that there's nothing that they could do, that swirling and the boat was going down.
Yeah.
That's how boats go missing in the Bermuda Triangle.
And what is causing that? Is that a natural phenomenon? Like one theory that I read a bit more, let's say, of this Earth is that like gas bubbles float up, which like methane or some other gas that kind of take away the floating capability of vessels. So they just sink.
Yes, I feel, but in order to pull them down, they end up in this swirling motion. It all happens very quickly. What happened? Why? It's just because it's the energy. The energy is clashing in that area. It's like a fight of energies. And, once the energies clash, so take your hands and you think about, about to clap, that clapping motion. And it's almost like, the two magnets, if they're on, opposite sides, you know what I mean? So they're repelling one another instead of sticking to one another. And then they'll have to like clash. And what I say clash is that one will divert. And that's what happens when that diversion of energy happens. It creates that swirling effect. And that's what swallows these boats.
So are you saying that so there, it's more like a supernatural thing, yeah, or maybe an earthly phenomenon that we don't really understand, but it's not gas related, it's more energetic, is that correct?
It's not gas related, it is more energetic. It's just a point at where different energies meet on the earth plane. And that's what it's about. It's about this combination of energies. It's just a total clash. You know, that's very relevant because when you travel, and you being very well traveled, I'm sure when you go to different places, the energy, you can feel it at different points on the map. It's just very different. And sometimes we like that energy and sometimes we really don't. But that energy just seems to like really hit. I feel like there's 3 different energies there that are all fighting against one another to who's most important, who's going to win. And it's this constant war of energy.
And are the energy, is it a matter of like malevolent, benevolent energies, or just different energies without any, they're just energies?
Like light energies? I feel like, is it dark energy? No, I don't feel like it's dark energy. I feel like it's just energy. It's mostly light energy, but it's just so powerful. And it happens in like little pockets around that area. It's just little pockets here and there. And if you happen to go into or float into that pocket, you're gone.
So it seems, does it indeed adhere to roughly the shape of a triangle, or is that just what we superimpose on it, and it's like way more random than that?
Oh, that's a great question. Is it roughly the geometric shape of a triangle? Yes, it is. It is roughly a triangle. And if you think about it, that is quite appropriate because a triangle has 3 points.
Sure.
And that is, that's where the energy is. It's like 3 different energies, like all clashing.
So, of course, you mentioned the boats. They because whatever the energy swirl, and they also make the water swirl, right? That's how the ships then get sucked down.
Yes, it's like a vacuum. It sucks them down. Yes, it happens very quickly.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions to be asked here. And one is, of course, do the ships really disappear off the planet into another dimension, or are they just somewhere on the bottom of the ocean, still more or less intact or in tatters, who knows? But are they still here? Do they just disappear to the bottom of the ocean and that's it? Or do they disappear through a portal into God knows where?
That is a fantastic question. Do the ships disappear? No, but I feel like the thing is with the vacuum that's swirling, it's so intense, right? It's not a slow swirl, it's a fast spinning swirl. It just busts the ships apart. That's what I feel. And they just, various portions of the ship just bust apart, and it, the majority of it lands on the ocean floor. But, they're not transported anywhere that I can see, other than those people that are on board are obviously transported into the spirit world dimension.
Because they die.
Oh, yes. It's like the impact is so intense of the energy and the swirling and the vacuum. Yes, absolutely. No one can survive that.
But you're saying that these craft, they are still here on the planet, just in one way or another. They're broken up, and the wreckage is at the bottom of on the bottom of the sea. Yeah.
Yes, for the most part, yes. But a lot of it, because the energy is so strong, it just like combusts, you know, it just like turns them into nothing. There are parts still floating, you know, some of it will float around, some of it will end up, you know, on the ocean floor, but they break apart.
So, so how there's besides ships, there's plenty of aircraft that have disappeared as well. How does that work? Is it the same principle where the energies swirl all the way up into the sky? And can you kind of describe the process of how aircraft disappear into the Bermuda Triangle, and do they just break up over the sea and crash, or what happens? And maybe we can focus on a specific case a little bit later on.
Okay, what happens with aircraft? It's relatively the same thing, except it's not water, but it's that swirling, and it's like a vacuum, and they're just broken apart and pulled down. It's just gone. I mean, it happens very quickly, within a matter of seconds. It's not a slow process. And it's like you hit that swirl of energy, and the airplanes they disappear. They're pulled down.
But there are also other things going on there, like you know, there are. Well, let me get to that in a sec. So, do you feel that the craft, either flying or floating, that are let's say a victim of the phenomenon, are they targeted intentionally, or were they just in the wrong time, at the wrong in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Were they targeted intentionally? I mean, it's part of their life plan. So if you want to talk about, you know, non-3D thinking, that was all part of the life plan. But you know, with the 3D, it's just they happen to go into this spot. And the thing is, with these vacuums, it's not a consistent area, right? So it's within that triangle area. So it could pop at the top, it could pop up at the corners, at the bottom, in the middle. And I feel like it can happen multiple times. It's constant. These vacuums are constantly created. And so anywhere, it can happen to anybody at any time within that area.
So I mean, yeah, on a spiritual level, it was in people's maybe life path to unfortunately find their ending that way. But let's say on our level of understanding, the events are kind of random, yeah?
Right. Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. It seems that over the years, that part of the world, the Bermuda Triangle, I mean, the amount of flights taking place there, between Miami and Bermuda and the Bahamas, and like the number of yachts and boats floating around there has increased over the years. It's already, I mean, the traffic has been very heavy for many decades, but it seems that you don't hear much anymore about incidents recently. Why is that the case? So is there a fluctuation in the number of incidents over time, or has the phenomenon maybe moved to another location?
Well, that's a good question. Has the phenomenon moved? No, it hasn't. So why are there less incidents now than there was before? Well, it's saying to me like it hasn't changed. But why do more boats go around the triangle? I feel like they still sort of try to avoid that triangle area.
But you can. If you're in Miami and you own a yacht, which plenty people do down there, and you know, all the cruise boats that leave from Fort Lauderdale down to the Caribbean, they go through it. So I mean, it's just that there's no way around the triangle. And it's also, I mean, most people still don't recognize that such a phenomenon exists, right? Certainly Carnival cruises don't, at least not that I'm aware of, and they go straight through it. And yeah, so that kind of makes you wonder, right? And I don't think, yeah,
it does. Ben, why if they
what is Spirit telling you there?
What if they're coming through there? Why are they now avoiding being vacuumed up? I don't know. They're maintaining that there is this vacuum there. Maybe they got lucky. Maybe, it's just not designed that way, but the vacuum is still very much present.
Well, let me make a little link here, just intuitively, to the missing 411 cases, where if you carry like a GPS transmitter and a gun, for example, like the phenomenon just doesn't happen to you. You don't go missing. I assume most people that are listening are familiar with missing 411. The books about people that go missing in weird ways in national parks in North America and around the world. Could it be the case that because of the fact that boats and planes now carry all sorts of transmitting equipment and locators and beacons, and that the phenomenon assuming it's maybe a conscious thing, the phenomenon is kind of keeping at bay? Because there would be now, if you would encounter the phenomenon, you would have plenty opportunity to make people aware that you're caught in something. So the question would be, the fact that there's more communication equipment now and GPS locators and all that sort of thing, is that what keeps boats and planes safer?
Well, it's certainly a factor in that, yes.
Why is the Bermuda Triangle there? Is it like just part of the fabric of the planet, or is there? How did it come into being?
It's always been there since Earth's creation.
Is it, according to some people, it might be tied to the remnants of Atlantis? Do you see that link?
That's a very good question. You have been reading up on your conspiracy theories.
No. I read a very great book, like back in must have been the late 80s. Like it's called The Bermuda Triangle by Charles Berlitz. I think that's still the original classic on the book and on the phenomenon. Sorry, and I'm sure you can still get I think it's reprinted like year after year. So grab a copy of that book. It's very exciting. There's a few things in there that, in hindsight, were proven to be incorrect, but I think most of the book still holds up after all these years, and that's a great read. And I'm sure there's many new books out about the phenomenon. Yeah, but I know a little bit about it.
Was that the site of Atlantis? No. It was not the site of Atlantis. What was his theory about it? That Atlantis was there?
Well, I think I don't even know if that was in that particular book, but at least I read somewhere that because a lot of that one of the characteristics of Atlantis was the use of kind of psychic powers and crystals. And that some of using Earth magnetism, and that some of these powers, even though the empire has sunk, that some of these powers still and tools and crystals still are working. And I'm not explaining this very eloquently, so apologies to the audience. But that basically, the things that were used, the tools and powers in Atlantis, they still are to a degree working even on the bottom of the ocean. So that's a theory. And that might be true, actually, but it might not be related to the Bermuda Triangle. We can explore that later on. Was there a question in there? I don't know. Let me think. uh,
I'm like, okay, where do I go? Do I go straight to Atlantis? I don't feel like
well, I
Atlantis
don't want to
was.
go off the rails. Let's first try to properly close the Bermuda dossier before we move on to Atlantis. So let's stick with the Bermuda Triangle for a bit. Are UFOs or aliens using whatever energies are there in the Bermuda Triangle to their advantage, or to navigate, or to fly in and out of the Earth, like our dimension? Or so, are they active there? Are UFOs and aliens active somehow in and around the Bermuda Triangle? And if yes, why?
Bermuda Triangle? No, they're scared of the energy around there too. It's very powerful.
So I remember a witness, I think that might have been from the Berlitz book, not sure. Again, it's been decades, so apologies for that. I'm mixing up books and articles here. But I remember reading that someone on a yacht in the Bermuda Triangle, he looked up and he basically looked at the sky at night, very clear sky, and he saw basically like the sky opening like a rectangular hatch where the stars weren't visible anymore, and he saw a couple of UFOs like flying in or out. So that seems to allude to a possibility that area is also used as kind of a doorway or a portal. Is that something that you can corroborate in any way, shape, or form?
That's a very good question, because I've actually seen that myself, not in the Bermuda Triangle, but when I witnessed a UFO craft, it's like the stars were gone, and then this strange light came over us, and you could see every single detail of everything, every leaf, every spine on every leaf. So I understand what you're asking. What is it used as some sort of portal for aliens? No, aliens are not that area. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did experiment. Were they experimenting around? They may have experimented around that area, but as far as regular usage, no.
So are you saying that the energies there, that they can like disable or the craft, like it's basically not safe for navigating? And again, like this is probably not proper UFO terminology or how they steer the craft. I'm kind of using Earth verbiage here, but okay, you get my drift. Is it unsafe for craft?
Is it unsafe for craft? They try to avoid it. I just feel like what they're looking for, the type of energy that they're looking for is not that. Now, what is also coming through, and I've had this come through in a session before, for those of you that have been following me for quite some time, I did a Bob Lazar video way back when, Lost in the Ether, sorry about that, where the UFO crafts, when they do fly around the Earth area, they're using magnets, or they're using energy and magnets. So the fact that the energy is so strong in that area, and their magnets on the bottom of their craft, it can be very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Can you see, as a remote viewer or as a psychic, is the U.S. Army aware, or does it believe that the phenomenon exists, the phenomenon of the Bermuda Triangle? And if yes, how is it trying to deal with the phenomenon or harness it?
That's another good question. I'm going to ask the U.S. government. Do you know of the Bermuda Triangle? Yes. And do you believe that it's a true phenomenon? No, the U.S. government says no, it's not true. So let me ask the Navy, the U.S. Navy. Do you believe that the Bermuda Triangle exists? Yes, we know that it exists. And what was the next question? I'm sorry.
How do they, I think also, if I'm not mistaken, the US Navy even has an underground base somewhere in Florida near the Keys. I'm not sure here, so sorry, I'm not.
They used to.
Yeah, but well, anyway, the question is, are they trying to, can they somehow utilize the energy, or have they been trying to utilize the energy for military purposes?
Have you tried to utilize? No, they haven't tried to utilize the energy for military purposes. No.
Do you feel that they think it's dangerous?
It's dangerous. They believe that it is. Yes, it could be very dangerous potentially.
Okay. Are there, according to some people, there's actually many Bermuda Triangles spread around the world in kind of a regular pattern. Can you confirm that? For example,
yes, there are. Yes, I've never heard that theory. Yes, there are. And I feel like one is around the Indian Ocean.
Okay. What other locations do you see?
There's one down by the South Pole. And there's one by the North Pole.
Like right on top of the, like near the magnetic pole, or more like in a more random location?
More on the way. Yeah, there's quite a few. There's quite a few. Those are the big ones. I feel like there's another one near Australia as well.
Are there any of these areas over located on land? I mean, we're talking about the ocean, but let's try to tackle the topic comprehensively and thoroughly. Are there any of these areas located over land? On land?
No. Not similar to the Bermuda Triangle energy clash. No. They would be considered something else. There are pitfalls on land. There are, very strange energetic places. But with the ocean, because the ocean is so powerful anyway, the energy around the ocean, the energy in the ocean, the energy in the atmosphere of the ocean, it compounds the power. Like, it's really, really huge. Now, there are different sort of things and portals and different energy vacuums on the earth, on land. But because of the land, it sort of brings that magnetism down more. It's not as powerful as the ocean. I mean, the ocean is extremely powerful.
Right. So like a land version would be like what we know Sedona to be, right? Like kind of these vortex areas.
Yes. So yes, kind of. I feel like there's a lot of these vortex areas in Peru.
In Peru, okay. But is there a relationship between those areas and areas like the Bermuda Triangle? Like any kind of direct relationship?
Direct relationship? No.
Okay. Maybe, well, I think, Liz, it's already, wow, time flew by. What do you think, Liz? Do you still have time to pursue this a little bit, or we call it a day?
We may have to do a part 3.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, I think the Bermuda Triangle was just like one thing of like 20 on my list. So just like Hitler, look forward to part 3 through 10. Yeah, so our apologies, folks. We started like really late. Liz and I were blabbing away for a bit before we started the video. But I think this was a very interesting little video focusing on the Bermuda Triangle specifically. So yeah, with that, we have to leave you, and more videos to look forward to from my compadres, Mr. Robot and Mr. Shakespeare. And I'll be joining you again next week for what will probably be Oceans Part 3. And then we'll focus a bit on Atlantis and the other ocean mysteries. So, Liz, any final words from either you or Bert?
From me or Bert? Bert drove away in his sports car. No, that's it, really. Just I know I'm getting a lot of emails and a lot of questions about my calendar, my booking calendar. It is still closed for the regular psychic sessions and also for the regular CTT sessions. The VIP option, Jump the Queue, is still open. That does not have a long queue, so that one you can get into relatively easy. Yes, I realize it's more expensive, but you have to pay for the privilege of jumping the queue. Right now, the queue is out by several months, and so closer to the time of the end of that queue is when I'll open up the calendar, most probably sometime around the end of January. So yeah, just hang in there. The Ask Liz paper option and the Ask Eric paper option is still open. And of course, if you want to interact with any of us, you need to join the Patreon /Remote Viewing and Beyond. Listen, you get a lot of benefits there. You get to make suggestions for probes. It's approximately $3.50 per week. And then you also have access to our Monday morning CTT healing group, which is at 9 a.m. Central every Monday morning, which is fabuloso. You also get discounts on readings, and you get to speak with the wonderful Max, occasional host of The Most, and also Mr. Shakespeare, and also Mr. Robot. And we have a really nice group there, and you're supporting the YouTube channel. So for all of you that do support the YouTube channel, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We all do. And we're just going to keep cranking out the content. So happy New Year and happy holidays to everyone.
Yes, and see you next week.